You love me more than anyone in the world?
Yes, more than anyone.
I don't care, I'm happy. Aren't you happy?
You're happy?
You're not?
Obsession made me think of 500 Days of Summer. Now, I know one is a supernatural horror movie and the other's a romantic comedy. I'll let you decide which one's which, but I couldn't help but think about the similarities between Bear and Tom. Tom doesn't fall in love with Summer, and Bear doesn't fall in love with Nikki. They both become obsessed with the versions of them they created in their heads.
Have you ever actually flirted with Nikki?
Before Bear ever made his wish, he already imagined a future with Nikki. Years of friendship had turned into years of fantasy. He had built an entire relationship in his head without ever knowing how Nikki felt. Tom did exactly the same thing. Almost as soon as Tom met Summer, their shared interests started to feel significant to him.
I love the Smiths. You have good taste in music.
You like the Smiths?
Yeah.
Their conversations took on extra meaning, and every time they met, it became another reason to believe she was the one. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not saying that Tom and Bear are the same character. They're actually pretty different. I'm more so comparing one aspect of their psychology. Tom was actually in a romantic relationship with Summer, and Nikki never had any kind of romantic feelings for Bear. And I think these two scenes show that difference perfectly.
Do you like me?
Do you like me?
Both Tom and Bear built versions of these women in their heads until those versions became more important than the people standing in front of them. This is called projection. Projection is when our expectations, desires, and assumptions begin filling in the gaps. Instead of responding to who someone actually is and what they're telling us, we start responding to who we've imagined them to be and what we want them to tell us. What's interesting is that neither Nikki nor Summer send mixed signals. Although there is some debate about this when it comes to Summer, and I could do a whole video exclusively on that if you want.
Do you like me?
During karaoke, Summer tells Tom that she doesn't believe in true love and isn't interested in being anyone's girlfriend. Tom barely takes that into consideration.
There's no such thing as love, it's fantasy.
Well, I think you're wrong.
What is it that I'm missing then?
I think you know when you feel it.
I guess we can just agree to disagree.
Summer tells him that she isn't looking for anything serious. She describes what they're doing as casual, without the expectations that come with being someone's girlfriend. Tom hears her, but he doesn't accept what she's saying because he's too caught up in the fact that he's with her at all. He continues interpreting every intimate moment as a sign that their relationship is becoming something more. Also, an example that I somehow forgot to include was when Summer tells Tom about a recurring dream she has. You can see this is a vulnerable moment for Summer, but Tom's attention shifts away from what she's actually saying and toward what it means for him.
Tom began to realize that these weren't stories routinely told. These were stories one had to earn.
He's not really listening to her. He's fitting the conversation into the story he's already telling himself. Summer's actual words become less important than whatever Tom thinks her actions could potentially mean.
I'm not really looking for anything serious.
Everyone outside the situation seems to understand this. Even Allison sees the reality of their relationship after hearing about it for a few minutes.
And she told you up front that she didn't want a boyfriend.
Tom spends hundreds of days refusing to see it. Bear does something similar with Nikki. When she tells him that she plans to leave the music store and pursue writing, he doesn't spend much time engaging with the future she wants to build. His attention goes to the fact that he won't see her every day anymore, and that he may be running out of time to tell her how he feels. Her decision becomes significant to Bear, mainly because of how it affects the relationship he has imagined with her. That continues when he drives her home.
I just want to go to bed.
Nikki,
I had a long day.
I can take you home.
Work, man.
Thank you.
There.
Nikki has already made it clear that she's exhausted and wants to sleep. But Bear keeps the conversation going because he's hoping the night will finally become the romantic moment he's been waiting for.
Wait,
What?
I was gonna ask you, I lost my train of thought.
Good night.
Good night. What else?
Nikki eventually gives him an opportunity to be honest by asking whether he likes her. Bear says,
I think we're good friends.
Okay. Good. Good night.
Instead of accepting what her response suggests, he waits until she goes inside and makes the wish. Nikki has told him what she wants from her life and gave him the chance to learn how she feels about him. Bear avoids both answers because they could force him to let go of the future he's already imagined.
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
The wish allows him to replace that uncertainty with the version of Nikki he wants. Neither Summer nor Nikki hides who she is. The men simply refuse to let the truth replace the stories they've already written. Ian and Sarah are also surprised when Nikki suddenly becomes intensely interested in Bear. They knew how she behaved before the wish, so her sudden obsession doesn't make sense to them. They understood that she didn't see Bear romantically, even while Bear spent years imagining that she could.
Dana would love, I'm on your side, but it's a bad look.
Everyone around Bear, just like Tom, can see what the relationship actually is. Tom and Bear only see what they desperately want them to become. That's one of the most consuming parts of obsession. The truth can be stated directly, and someone can still search for another detail that gives them permission to dismiss it.
When I have a crush on a guy, no one knows.
Obsession turns every interaction into material for the story they already want to believe. When Tom realizes Summer isn't the person he imagined, he falls apart. He spends months ruminating on the failed relationship, desperately wanting her back, and replaying everything that happened between them. Eventually, Tom has to confront the possibility that he was never seeing Summer as she was. Side note, one of my favorite parts of 500 Days of Summer is the expectations versus reality sequence. I think that's just so masterfully done. With Bear, instead of him changing his expectations, he changes Nikki. The Willow gives Bear the power to protect the fantasy, but the version of Nikki it creates barely resembles the woman he claimed to love. Her interests, ambitions, and relationships no longer matter. Everything about her revolves around Bear. She becomes a shell whose only defining quality is how desperately she wants him. Bear can see that she's suffering. Her obsession is frightening, painful, and completely unnatural, yet it still takes him a long time to prioritize freeing her. Even after he understands what the wish has done, part of him still remains attached to having Nikki in some form. That becomes especially clear when he gets access to another Willow.
Like to cancel your wish?
No, it's okay to keep the... I just want to know if I can, alter it a little.
His first instinct isn't simply to restore Nikki and accept whatever she feels about him afterward. He still searches for a version of the wish that might let him keep her without all the horrific consequences. He wants Nikki, but only under the condition that she continues wanting him. By this point, he isn't choosing Nikki as a person. He's choosing her body, presence, and what having her as a girlfriend represents. He has access to the woman he spent years fantasizing about, but the actual person inside that body has almost completely disappeared. And somehow, that still isn't enough to make him let go immediately. That reveals something much darker about Bear's feelings.
What's so bad about being with me?
Nikki's personality was never the most important thing of the fantasy. He wanted the validation of having this particular woman become completely devoted to him, even if that devotion erased everything that made her who she was. The irony is that we enter obsession thinking, oh, this is about when Nikki gets obsessed. But it's actually Bear who's been obsessed with her from the very beginning. Tom eventually has to live with the fact that Summer belongs to herself and that the future he imagined will never happen. Bear is given the power to avoid that reality, and the result shows how little room his fantasy ever left for the real Nikki. Also, while I was watching Obsession, Ruby Sparks came to mind. In that movie, a writer creates the perfect girlfriend, but the moment she starts acting like a real person, with her own opinions, independence, and relationships outside of him, he starts to rewrite her. It's the same instinct Bear has with the Willow expressed through fantasy instead of horror. So if you enjoyed Obsession, I do highly recommend Ruby Sparks. I think most of us have projected onto someone at some point. We imagine what dating them would be like, or mistake compatibility for possibility. Sometimes we become attached to who someone could be before we've accepted who they actually are. The fantasy can start feeling as real as a relationship, maybe even more real. Most of us eventually let reality win, but there are also ways we resist it. it. Sometimes we reshape ourselves around the person we want, take an interest in what they like, change how we dress, or hide parts of our personality in the hopes that we can become someone they would choose. Other times, people try to reshape the relationship itself. They continue pursuing someone after the feelings have been made clear, treat friendship like a temporary stage, or convince themselves that persistence will eventually change the outcome. The person in your imagination never challenges the role you've given them. They want what you want and fit neatly into the future you've already planned. A real person will always be more complicated. They may want a different life, understand their relationship differently, or leave before the story reaches the ending you imagined. Accepting that can hurt, especially when the future in your head has already started to feel like a promise. Caring about someone requires leaving room for them to exist outside of your imagination. They have to be allowed to disappoint you, surprise you, and choose a future that may not include you. Once that freedom disappears, love becomes possession. And obsession shows how much a person can be lost when having them matters more than truly knowing them. I'm curious whether you saw the same connection between Obsession and 500 Days of Summer. Let me know your thoughts. I've had Obsession on my mind lately. Such a great movie and definitely one that stays with you. So thanks for letting me talk through my thoughts on here. I still have so much more to say about this movie because it was crazy. And before I go, I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching. I love doing little character studies like this. I'm still a pretty new YouTuber, so I'm constantly learning and experimenting. My Instagram, Substack, and everything else is linked below if you'd like to connect. And if there's a movie or TV show you'd love to see me cover next, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another episode soon. Bye!